What's going on, man? Welcome back to the basement and welcome to the RS Dynasty channel. I'm Ron, and today we're going to peel back the curtain on my Dynasty teams. It's one thing to recommend a trade target or rookie draft strategy, and it's another to actually walk the walk and not just talk the talk. So we are 2 weeks past the NFL draft at this point, which means about half of my Dynasty leagues have started or completed their rookie draft. So we're going to talk through 7 of my Dynasty teams, talk about where they're at, their outlook moving forward, and cover each and every single rookie draft pick I've made so far, along with any trade I've made during the rookie draft. This is going to be a great video for you guys to just see what my teams look like at this point in time. And then also, if you have a team out there that's either rebuilding or a powerhouse that's just coasting, there's going to be a team for you that you can kind of look at and model your team after moving forward. So with all that being said, if you enjoy this video, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and let's talk about my first league, the BSMT Return of the King, a play on Lord of the Rings league. This is a Patreon league we started last offseason on the Patreon with subscribers. And I will say this setup is a lot. So let's actually just cover this before we even get into what this team is and where it's going. We have, of course, the positions, right? Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, sorted by their keep trade cut value. Then we have a sell key / just like key in general, where anything highlighted in yellow are rookie picks I've made this season. And then anything in red are players I'm looking to sell. We'll talk about it in a minute. There's not really any clear sells on this team. Then we have the starting lineup. How does this team look just in terms of the perspective of 2025? We have their underdog positional ranks, which is just, to me, probably the best gauge for what a redraft kind of lens would look like for each of your teams with the starting lineup in mind. Of course, if you want to go play on underdog, you can use promo code RON. They'll match your first deposit up to $1,000. You could redraft teams there and just get a feel for how the consensus feels about these players in 2025. Then we have the rookie picks here that I have moving forward. The format of the league, so this one is a 12-team Superflex tight end premium PPR Dynasty league. Very cookie cutter. That's what I prefer. I don't need all the like tiered PPR and like IDP. Just give me a normal tight end premium Superflex and we're good to go. And then we have the Dynasty Daddy Power Rankings. You can use whatever site you want. Dynasty Daddy is a free resource that uses keep trade cut values and rankings. So it just tells you how good is your value of your team, right? Your picks plus your team, and then also the value of your starting lineup. How good is your team from a contending perspective? In a perfect world, I'm in the top 4 of both and just perpetually contending and not mortgaging my future, and contending but not mortgaging my future, and then also hitting on picks. This one's a little different, which we'll get to, and then the previous points for finish, which is just a good snapshot of how did this team do in the previous season. Now let's talk about this team in particular. This is the BSMT Return of the King League, and I went into this year punting year 1, right? So we did a startup last offseason. All I did there was get rookie picks, get rookie picks, get rookie picks. I traded away. I punted to get a bunch of 2026 firsts. I went into this draft with the 101, the 104, the 110, the 112, the 201, and 426 firsts, along with Puka Nacua. And I had a bit of a decision to make. I debated, should I just take Ashton Jeanty on this team and just start contending, right? Because we have the 101, so we could take Jeanty. Then the 104, we could take like Tet McMillan. Then we have the 110, 112, 201 to take some upside swings. And then 426 first to mess around with. Maybe you bundle 2 of those and get a quarterback. You bundle 1 more and get another contending piece. But I'd rather, especially in a Patreon league where these are very easy for me to fill orphans with, right? Anyone that's on the Patreon and in the Discord, I at everybody every offseason, hey, here's an orphan, do you want it? And I've never had a league fold since I've been doing this since like 2020, 2021. So for me, I decided, you know what, if I had no takers for Jeanty, I was open to the idea of, okay, I'll take Jeanty and we'll do this thing. But if I get a reasonable offer for Jeanty, then I have no problem delaying gratification for another year and truly making this a powerhouse. So that is the first trade we do in this league. We trade away the 101 for the 103 and a 2027 first. That's probably one of my biggest goals in this draft. Now that we've started the rebuild, is I had 426 firsts and only 127 first. So my goal in this rookie draft was to come away with as many 2027 firsts as possible. One reason being that in a rebuild, I'd rather just have the first spread out, right? I want to have like 3 firsts in the next draft class and 3 firsts in the draft class after that is ideal. Now, again, I will say I did want to kind of touch on this one more time of this is a Patreon league. It's going to last for a long time. If you're in a normal league, I'm open to the idea of not wanting to rebuild more than one season. Like, you could have easily done exactly what I did and then just said, okay, we'll get Genty and we'll compete now. But I'm fine in this league pushing things out, especially with these 2027 firsts, which are as cheap as you can get them right now. In this class is going to be ridiculous. At this point in time, you already have Jeremiah Smith, who looks like the next coming of Julio Jones. Ryan Williams is a monster. You have Arch Manning, who's going to come out in that class. I know that he could come out in 26. We're all expecting him to take one more year and come out in 27. And then you still have other studs, right, where you have Cam Coleman at Auburn. You have Ryan Wingo at Texas. You have Nate Frazier at Georgia. It's a really, really good class. I want to say Dylan Rayola's in this class as well. DJ Lagway. So I know half of those guys could end up like Quinn Ewers and could end up like a lot of those guys who fizzle out, DJ Uwangalele, but about half of them should still be stacked, and it's a draft class that I want access to. So to move back 2 spots out of Genty, get Tet McMillan, and net a 27 firsts, I was fine with that. And then we made another trade here where I really wanted the 102 on this team. I still had Puka, and Puka's fine, right? And he's, in theory, a rebuilding asset, right? He's under 25 years old, but he is a 1-2 turn pick in startups. I don't know how he ever... Like, I think to me that's his value ceiling. And it's not that Puka's a sell. It's just that if you're not using his points to contend, I think I would rather sell on a rebuilding team because he's going to score a lot of points for you. He's only going to get older. And I don't see the upside for him to join the Jefferson, Jamar Chase middle of the first round of a startup tier. So him being like this, top 15 asset, I was fine cashing out there. So I trade him for Travis Hunter and a 27 first. So now all of a sudden we have 3 27 firsts, right, including my own. And now we have, instead of the 101, we have Travis Hunter and we have Tet McMillan. And this is where I will take you guys to the rookie draft board. And this is what we do, right? So Genty goes 1, then we take Hunter, then we take Tet McMillan at the 102, at the 103. And then we kind of chill for a little bit here. I actually had, like I told you earlier, I had the 104 in this league. I want to make sure that this is not super, super difficult to track. So we had the 104 in this league, which I knew Hampton was on the board. I knew Ward was on the board. I didn't really want Ward. I knew that later on I would take a shot at, Dart or whatever around 110, 112. I knew Tyler Shuck would be in my range too as early as the 301. I was open to taking Cam Ward, but I did want to see if I could capitalize on anybody who wanted to trade up for Hampton because there's plenty of leagues where Hampton is the 102. So there's going to be plenty of interest in Hampton, and that's what we did. Our third trade in this league, we trade away the 104, which is Amarian Hampton. And I do want to sort of cover this idea of we trade the 104 to me for probably 2 first straight up. We get the 26 first and the 27 first. Now you might be like, well, you're kind of trading Hubbard at a loss here for just a random 26 second. His value is like the 201, 202, 203 in trade counts, which it is. But in practice, man, especially my leagues where people like aren't crazy about Chuba Hubbard, you're not going to get the 201 or the 202 for Chuba Hubbard. So to me, to grease the wheels of, all right, if you want the 104, let me offload Chuba Hubbard for 80% of his value, which to me is a 26 second. And that's just like an added sweetener on top because if not, he would just be sitting on my team scoring points. And Chuba Hubbard next offseason isn't going to be worth more than a 26 second. So at that point, I figured we'll throw Hubbard into this deal, get him off this team because I don't want to score points. I want to get the 101 in 2026 again. And then from there, we can compete. Now, after this pick, we step up to the plate at the 110 and the 112. And to me, I just take best player available. At the 110, or actually, no, we don't take best player available. That's my bad. We would have taken best player available if Egbuka fell to us. He did not. He goes 109. I would have loved to take an Egbuka. But you'll see, in my rankings, I don't have Dart ahead of Loveland and Tyler Warren. But here was my thinking. I had the 112. I didn't want any funny business where somebody could take Dart here. I don't want to end up with both tight ends. I didn't want to take Loveland and Warren. So instead I take Dart, and I let 111 choose for me. I actually know Trizzo. Shout out DJ Trizzo. He's a friend of mine. He's in this league. He's a patron member, but also somebody, I've met outside of the Patreon, which is cool. But I know that he's a Penn State alum. I knew he was going to take Tyler Warren, who is my tight end 2 in this class. We end up with Dart and Loveland. So we get an upside swing at quarterback for this team, which I think we definitely needed, right? We have Drake May, and now we have Jackson Dart. And then at the 112, we take Loveland, which gives us some upside here at tight end, which before that we had Air at tight end. And then the rest of this draft, we just kind of go best player available, right? I want to build out this wide receiver room, so we go Luther Burden at the 201. Nothing else really, and to me, I'm not crazy about, once Golden and Caleb are gone here, I'm not trading back up. The 204 all the way in this range, these are fine picks, but I'm not looking to trade up. I was fine to just sit at the 301. And now that we got the Derek Carr news coming in, Tyler Shuck at 3 looks amazing. And then we take DJ Giddens at the 401 as just he was my best ranked player. I don't even really want running backs on this team, but I'm fine doing so. But here's the final team. Clearly in no position to contend. I'm trying to get the 101 this next year, but now we roll into this next draft class with 526 firsts, 426 seconds, and 427 firsts total on the entire thing. And we still have Marv, Travis Hunter, Ted McMillan, Luther Burden, Drake May to build around some upside swings, and Dart and Loveland to be, cornerstone pieces at each of those positions. And then again, we'll go into next season. I think the goal for me is get the 101, compete in 2026 while still having 2 or more 27 firsts, and just kind of messing around with these picks, flipping some of them on the clock, whatever, and then 2026 and beyond being an absolute powerhouse. Now, after that, we have the Mickey Mouse Dynasty League. This is a really tough league. This is an analyst league with Danny from the FSC. You have Pure Potential, who is a newer Dynasty channel. You have Jacob Sanderson, who's been on this channel before. Akash, YZR Fantasy. You have Dynasty IM. So a lot of guys on Twitter who know what they're doing. This was a team that had been competing and doing just fine for a while for me, but it just kind of crapped out. I had Patrick Mahomes, who did awful this past year. Tyreek Hill, who did awful this year. Was just kind of treading water and decided, well, I'll kind of start a mini turnaround rebuild, and that's where I'm at now. And what kind of sparked that was this trade of Patrick Mahomes. Now, I love Patrick Mahomes. I actually have him as a buy, but on this team where it's just treading water, and you see my receiver room, right, where I traded away Tyreek Hill mid-season, I believe, for a future first. And you can see here I have Worthy, Pickens, Pittman. It's just not a team that's good enough to contend, right? Just imagine this team right before this Mahomes trade. I have Drake May, I have Mahomes, and then this running back room. Even with adding these picks of Hunter, Tet, or I wouldn't have Hunter otherwise, right? So it just would have been Tet, Egbuka, Worthy, Pickens, Pittman, and Njoku. Just a really mid team held up by Mahomes. So I decided to, especially in a league like this where it's really hard to come by future first. It's super, super difficult in an analyst league to acquire future first without giving up a lot. So if I have to sell Mahomes, start this rebuild, and then I get Travis Hunter, the 102, and a future first. This 26 first, by the way, looks good. This guy who got Mahomes, his team doesn't look great at all. He's somebody who's picking in the top 6, right? He didn't even make the playoffs this past year, so we'll see how that first ends up in 2026. And I throw in Hunter Henry in the 305, whatever, to get that deal done. So then at the 102, we come in and we take Travis Hunter. You'll see that's going to be the common theme with a lot of these teams is I have a lot of Travis Hunter. I don't just I'm not just talking about it for videos. So we take Travis Hunter at the 102. Then the 104 comes around. And I'll be honest, I was debating selling the 102 again, right, to package that, because the way that this rebuild works, right, is I'm trying to rebuild, but it's not like the first one where I can just stack up, 526 first and 427 first. It's not going to work like that in this league. So I'm trying to do whatever I can to stack up those first. But again, it's like the Hubbard thing I talked about earlier. If I want to get, let's say 326 first and 327 firsts, it's not going to be like, okay, I'll give you Hubbard and Pickens for a 27 first. No. It's going to be, I'll give you Hunter and then one of these red guys, which, by the way, the reason why these guys are red is because I have them as sells, where on a team where I'm rebuilding, I don't want any running back points, so Hubbard and Pacheco have to go. To me, Pickens is fine, but if anyone wants to buy him because of the Cowboys stuff, he can go. Pittman is just a wide receiver who doesn't line up with my, window of competing. Same thing with Njoku. I don't need his points. So if I could add one of these to more coveted assets like my picks here, like Hunter, McMillan, Egbuka, and turn that into, can I get to 326 first? And I get to 327 first? Then sure, right? So I'll give, I love Travis Hunter, but if I can use Travis Hunter to also kind of sneak in on the backside of a deal, a Chuba Hubbard, and then also get a bunch of draft picks to really start this rebuild, I would be open to it. Similar deal with Ted McMillan, but I really wasn't getting those kinds of offers on the clock. I will say the one offer I have, and I do want to hear your guys' opinion. Let me know in the comments down below. I have Danny from Fantasy Stock Exchange, something we did talk about, and I think would still be on the table. The issue is his team is really good. He won the league last year. He rebuilded similar to how we just saw with my BSMT team, where he rebuilded in such a manner that his team won, and I could see him winning each of the next 2 years. So his firsts, I would value as 110, 111, 112. But what's on the table, it would be his Cam Ward, his 26 first, and his 27 first, both of those first being super, super late for my Travis Hunter and Chuba Hubbard. I'd be open to it because then at that point, yes, I'm trading away Travis Hunter, but I would then have Cam Ward to this quarterback room, which I could use, right, with Drake May. Why not have 2 upside swings of young quarterbacks? But then I would have 3 26 firsts and 2 27 firsts, 5 firsts over the next 2 years, which isn't easy. But again, those Danny firsts are bottom 3 almost guaranteed. So I'm curious where you guys are at on that. I'm conflicted on it because it's I love Travis Hunter. I'm fine with Travis Hunter and Drake May being the centerpiece of this rebuild, but also I don't know that 2 26 firsts and 1 27 first is enough for this rebuild to become anything of substance next season. So that's just what I'm thinking. I feel like there's more upside in sort of stockpiling picks than just hoping Travis Hunter's amazing, but I'm also open to the other side of that. And again, the reason I haven't pulled the trigger on it is because I'm just hesitant to sell Travis Hunter in any capacity. And again, this league, it's just tough to get future first, right? So I was sitting on the 110, tried to get a first for 110, couldn't. So now we took Emeka Egbuka, which I'm fine with. Just keep on stacking up wide receivers here. Similar deal with the 112, right? So I'm picking here, which is, again, Danny's first, which it's going to be 112 for a while here. I'm in a tough spot. I've tried to. I offered to the entire league, take my 112 and I'll take your 27 first. None of them are going for it. I've tried to. Can I add 112 to Pickens? Can I add 112 to Chuba Hubbard and get something done for a future first? And it's just not happening. I think in all likelihood, this pick at 112 ends up being. I think I could see a Jackson Dart. I could see. Both tight ends go. So yeah, I could see Jackson Dart or Luther Burden for me at that 112. I'm trying to trade it, but I don't think it's going to happen. It's why I have that red. And this is just one of those teams where it's tough. I'm trying to get creative right, we have 5 pieces that are very clear sells. How can I add 1 or 2 of them to my, more shiny pieces, Hunter, McMillan, Egbuka, Worthy, and get into more future first? But it's just tough. It might be a thing where I wait until the season happens. Maybe George Pickens is balling out all of a sudden, he's the wide receiver 15 in points per game, and then bang, then I can sell him. So there's definitely there's some upside to waiting and being okay, let's just see these guys score during the season, and we can just sell those vets then, hold on to Hunter, and then still find a way to turn Pickens and Hubbard into a future first once the season starts and these players are scoring points. So just something to think about. This team is pretty far out from where I want it to be at this point. It's not as straightforward as the first one, where it's just really tough. I would love if I could be in a spot where I have 6 future firsts, but it's not. So I'm in the process of trying to rebuild this thing, but there's a lot more game theory of what can I give to get in terms of future draft capital. And this team, 8th in dynasty value, 12th in contending. We are trying to just completely strip this thing down to the bolts. So curious what you guys think about that with the Travis Hunter dilemma and the future first dilemma with this team. Now moving on to the too lazy to set lineups team. This is another analyst league. This is with the Stock Exchange boys, both Bush and Danny. You have Notorious Fantasy in there, a bunch of guys from their community in there too. And this team is fine. It lost in the semifinals last year. It's not top 4 in both dynasty and contending value like I'd prefer, but it still is a solid team that is 2nd in contending value. And pretty much what just has to happen is moving forward, I just simply, contend, hit on some picks, and then slowly this dynasty value creeps on up. And then you'll see I only have the 409 here, and this is why. Me and Bush made a blockbuster last year, or no, 2 years ago in 2023. I got Josh Reynolds, Kyron Williams, Bijan Robinson, and CJ Stroud. This is a best ball league, by the way. It's Superflex PPR best ball, no tight end premium. And I gave away Justin Jefferson 2 firsts and 2 seconds, which it looked like I fleeced him when CJ Stroud was a top 5 startup pick last offseason. Now it's much more even. I believe the actual haul here is Xavier Worthy, A.D. Mitchell, Matthew Golden, Jalen Milroe as the first and seconds, plus Justin Jefferson. So it's not terrible, right? It's not amazing. Like, I would say like Bijan and Kyron equals Jefferson, and then Stroud, I would say he probably wins, but like Stroud for Xavier Worthy, Matthew Golden, A.D. Mitchell, Jalen Milroe is probably fine. So it's like about even, but that's why I don't have any future picks here. And you'll see, or not future picks, but it's why I only had the 409 in this draft. So this one's going to be a little bit more boring to cover. But you can see here, we have Bijan, we have Kyron, and I did want to mention the last one, like this draft is still going on, right? So the 112 hasn't happened yet. So that's why I didn't cover like who I took in the second or the third. But this draft has actually wrapped up. And the reason why I have Bijan and Kyron red is because when you look at this team, right, Goff, you have Bijan, McCaffrey. This is the first team we're looking at that's actually contending. So we have Amon-Ra St. Brown, Nico Collins, Jacoby Myers, McBride, Kyron in the flex, Jonnu in the flex, Goddard in the flex. It's constructed very weirdly where it's a contending team, it's a solid team, it's best ball, right, which is fun for having Goff to Amon-Ra stack and Stroud to Nico Collins stack, but the wide receiver room is a lot weaker than I'd like it to be, and that's why I have Bijan and Kyron as sellers, because if I could sell Bijan for a future first and like a producer at wide receiver? I would love that because I think Kyron and McCaffrey is enough running back firepower in a best ball to be just fine. But for now, I'm a little bit over the top at running back. And then also Kyron. But again, in these leagues, right, like these Kyron Williams, Chase Brown, Chuba Hubbard type of guys, you're not going to get market value in most of these sharper leagues for those guys. So I have him red, but it's pretty hopeless to sort of, what kind of wide receiver can you sell Kyron for in a league like this? But when we talk about the rookie draft, I made, again, no moves. This is just a really boring, I take the 409. I take Isaac Tesla in this league. Let's pull it up real quick, though, just so you can see the full draft. I'm sure you guys are curious, too, who is everybody taking? But we take, 409 Isaac Tesla, third round pick in the real life draft. He's been somebody I keep ending up with at the end of my bench. But you can see, right, like those are the 2 picks from that trade where I gave away Matthew Golden and Jalen Milroe to get CJ Stroud and Bijan, part of that deal. But nothing else really to talk about with this team. Like I said, I think it's fine for now. I would just love to move one of these running backs for a wide receiver or 2 or maybe some future capital as well. Then our 4th team, we have the Founding Fathers. This is an OG Dynasty startup we started back in 2021. I finished with the first most points last year. I'm first in contending value, third in Dynasty value, so that is absolutely beautiful. I lost in the semis after being the 1 seed, which just kind of goes to show you can have the biggest powerhouse ever and then still lose because things happen in the playoffs. And something that happened for me that was catastrophic was Jalen Hurts' Week 16 concussion. That knocked me out of a lot of semifinals. But this team is great, right? Hurts, Gibbs, Achane, CeeDee Lamb, Nico Collins, DK Metcalf, Kittle. In the flex, you have Hubbard, Debo, Jacoby Myers. And then not even listed in the flex, we still have flex options of Brian Robinson and Tony Pollard. And you'll see those guys are red for the reason of I already have Gibbs, I already have Achane. I'm fine with having running backs in the flex like Hubbard, Brian Robinson, Pollard. But in a team that has the wide receiver 3 being DK Metcalf, I'd rather some more wide receiver firepower, right? The thing is, again, in these leagues, I don't know that you're going to turn like B-Rob and Pollard into anything crazy. This team does have all of its picks. Moving forward, it has a 2026 second bonus on top. I didn't have my first. I gave away my first on this team to compete, but moving forward, we have all of our dynasty value still in check. Now, with this team, let's take a look at the draft board. What is this? The Founding Fathers, right? Yeah, this is about as OG as it gets of a dynasty league. Let's see. So we take Tyler Shuck 210, which after this Derek Carr thing looks like absolute money. Then I took a swing on Elijah Arroyo. These are just dart throws, like best available players. Then we take Torrey Horton, who's a fun day 3 player that I like. And then Gunnar Helm, who I think to me if he didn't flunk his combine, he would have looked a lot better. But I will say, after taking Arroyo and taking Gunnar Helm, this tight end room is probably that's probably not optimal, right? We probably want to consolidate some of these, but my thoughts were just that I think Elijah Arroyo was a great value at 310. Same with Gunnar Helm here, and I'm really just sort of playing the quantity game, trying to find the next diamond in the rough at tight end to take over for when Kittle's prime is up. And I don't really feel like, I mean, these are deep rosters to begin with, right? Like I have 9 deep at running back, 9 deep at wide receiver. I don't know. I was fine with that, and this is a draft that's deep in running back, but I'm already pretty set at running back, and it's a draft that's not that deep at wide receiver. I didn't really feel like I needed to take a bunch of day 3 wide receiver prospects. So to me, Arroyo and Helm made a ton of sense. But this is a team that looks good. I don't have to lift a finger moving forward. It is just a contender into perpetuity. Perfect looking team, if I can say so myself. Same deal. This is another Patreon league, the 12 guys, 1 basement league that we started back in 2021. This is another just stacked contending team. We are second in dynasty value. We are first in contending value, first in most points for, again, another team that lost in the semis because Jalen Hurts. So we have a lot of these Jalen Hurts teams. That Week 16 concussion will haunt me forever. But let's talk about this team. All right, it's stacked again. Allen, McCaffrey, Cook, Malik Neighbors, Amon-Ra St. Brown, A.J. Brown. Now we have Tyler Warren at tight end, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, and we still have Stephon Diggs off the bench. We still have Tyrone Tracy off the bench, Pacheco off the bench, and a bunch of rookie picks. You'll see here as well we have an extra 2026 first, and we have all of our picks through 2027. Let's look at the rookie draft board for 12 guys, 1 basement real quick. Here's what we're working with. I got to turn off that sound, man. But so we have pretty much just all of our picks, and to me, right, we look at this team again. We have Tucker Kraft, we have Njoku, but no super stud at tight end, and just the way this team is built, we're Allen, Hurts, Geno is perfect at quarterback. Cook, McCaffrey, Tyrone Tracy, Pacheco, we're fine there. Could I have taken a wide receiver if I wanted to? Sure, but again, at that 110 spot, Emeka Egbuka didn't fall to me. He goes 108, which that's my wide receiver target if I'm going to take one at that 108, 109, 110, 111 range. He didn't get there. So Loveland goes, we take Warren, and now we have a real upside swing to have a difference-making tight end, which then makes, I read it up Kraft and Njoku because we don't really need both of these guys. Now that we have Warren, we could sell one of them off for sure. Then at the 210, I would have loved Kyle Williams. He gets sniped by Zeke here. So I take Tootin. Basil Tootin at 210, to me, that is way too far. And sometimes you just have to take best player available, which to me, that's what that was. So we just build up this running back room a bunch here. And then the rest of this draft, we just kind of take, to me, best player available. We take Shedeur Sanders at 308, which I'm fine with him there. Jarquez Hunter, Trevor Etienne. And then we take Ricky White, a fun wide receiver prospect for the Seattle Seahawks. This is another team. Don't have to touch a damn thing if I don't want to. And this team will be good to go. Now, the 6th team we'll talk about in this video is the BSMT World Cup. This is my favorite Dynasty league I'm in. We are in a good spot. We're 3rd in Dynasty value, 4th in contending value, finished 7th last season. It is a Superflex tight end premium best ball league, and this is the format. It is really fun. There are 4 separate leagues that I commish all of them. It's a headache, but it's worth it. 4 separate Dynasty leagues where it's a best ball. In your individual league, it's a $50 buy-in. Your individual league, the top 1 and 2 scorers after Week 17 get $150 and $75 for first and second place. That is half the pot. The rest of the pot goes into the overall tournament prize, which you are at 24 teams in Week 15. That gets cut down to 18, then cut down to 10 teams for Week 17. And the top 3 scorers in Week 17 among those 10 teams get $1,000, $400, and $100. So in theory, on a $50 buy-in, you could win your own league, win $150, win the overall first place prize, win $1,000 for $1,150 and 23xing your $50 buy-in. So to me, it's a really, really fun league where there's overall prizes. It incentivizes you to try and build a powerhouse to take home the entire tournament. And this is where my team is at now. It's in a weird spot where I drafted not great in the startup. it sort of caught up to me. And then this year, about halfway, I decided to just do a mini tank where I was just like, all right, I'm not going to win anything this year. I'll sell X player for first-round picks. I stockpiled some picks. I ended up getting the 106 naturally just based on where my team finished in points. And this is where we end up. So we traded for the 105 on the clock. I'll actually pull up our draft here. We traded for the 105 on the clock because Ted McMillan fell to this pick, and I did want to get Ted McMillan if I could. And what I offered for Ted McMillan was Chase Brown and J.J. McCarthy. Now, this is another instance of kind of how I think through trades in Dynasty. I'm not the craziest Chase Brown guy. So, if I can use Chase Brown to grease the wheels and sell him, I will, right? Like, I'm not dying to sell J.J. McCarthy. I like J.J. McCarthy, but if I can sell J.J. McCarthy to get into the 105, which I value more than J.J. McCarthy, I believe, right? I would have Ted McMillan over J.J. McCarthy straight up, and now I'm selling Chase Brown for a random 26 first. If I went around this entire league and proposed Chase Brown for your 26 first, Chase Brown for your 26 first, it's getting declined across the board. But with this trade, what I'm doing is greasing the wheels, right? If you want J.J. McCarthy, you are now going to have to take on Chase Brown for a 26 first to get there. And that's what we did. We greased the wheels. We gave up J.J. McCarthy, but I think in a best ball, right? I think Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray, and Sam Darnold is a fine trio. So I had a J.J. McCarthy to give up. So we end up with Ted McMillan to get us some wide receiver depth that we needed in a league like this. Then at the 106, we take Quinshon Judkins to replace Chase Brown. Then the 108 comes around, and to me, that's the best player. Or the 109, the best player available we've been talking about. We take Emeka Egbuka. Then in the second round, we have a trade hit our inbox. Now, this is, I wish I could give you some high-level analysis. Sometimes you just get a gift in your inbox, and you have to say yes. Malik Neighbors for my 206 and 306. I'll take that all day. I think some trade calculators would have that about even, but the way I thought through it was if Jefferson's like the 106 in a startup and Malik Neighbors is like the 110, 111, if in a normal startup, if you offered your 110 in the startup for their 106 and all you offered was your future second and future third, it'd be an instant decline. So I was fine taking that on, accepting that trade, and after that, in the rookie draft, we take Kyle Williams at 211, which I love, and then another Isaac Tesla share. And now moving forward in this team, we have a best ball team that is fourth in contending value. We have 326 firsts moving forward. We have all of our 27 picks. We have Kyler, JT, Judkins, J. Jeff, Ladd, Xavier Worthy, Brenton Strange. We need a better tight end. Then we have Ted McMillan, Emeka Egbuka, Justin Herbert. Nobody sticks out as a clear sell to me. It's a best ball. All these players will get used. Now, we have 326 firsts to mess around with. I think for me, I'll see how this team does and then mid-season decide if I want to sell a 26 first or not. And, of course, the first thing on that shopping list would be to upgrade tight end, right? Like maybe there's a Kittle owner, maybe whoever the tight end one this year is, maybe Kelsey has a resurgence, maybe Kittle goes crazy. Can I bundle up some 26 firsts to get a tight end upgrade? Maybe even get into a Kyler Murray to Trey McBride stack. But that's where I'm at. I don't really think I have to push the chips in on this team. Like I think that this team is probably good as is. Then that 2026 draft can come. These picks can realize, and then all of a sudden we have a powerhouse heading into 2027 in the BSMT World Cup. Now, my final team here is in Dear Ryan and Joe Thank You, another OG Dynasty League with subs that we started in 2021. This team is crazy again, but it's really just getting lucky in the playoffs. Another team with Jalen Hurts. We get bumped. This is what the team looks like on paper. It's crazy. First in Dynasty value, first in contending value. We finished third in points for last year. We have Breece Hall, Jalen Hurts. We have Scatabo, who we drafted, Jamar Chase, Nico Collins, Brian Thomas, Brock Bowers, Jamison Williams, Emeka Egbuka, Tucker Kraft. So, I don't love the idea that like Tucker Kraft is someone I'm going to have to rely on the flex. And I think that that's kind of what the biggest issue with this team is right now, is that it's absolutely fine, but we could definitely turn Kraft, who I don't need with Bowers ahead of him, and Darnold A-Rich, who I don't need with Burrow and Hurts, into, can I just get a wide receiver piece past Jamison Williams to put in the flex spot? That's all I'm really thinking about at this point. Now, with this draft, we have the 108. We end up taking Emeka Egbuka, of course, best player available. Let's see what this draft board looks like. We take Emeka Egbuka. Then the 111 comes around, which is my pick, but we end up trading it to, I didn't want to say his name, but this is who we end up trading it to. And here's the trade we make to move off of the 111. We trade J.J. McCarthy again, and I do want to make it clear, I don't think J.J. McCarthy's a sell. It's just where this team was, right? We look at this team. We had Hurts, Darnold, Richardson, and J.J. McCarthy. I wanted to try and upgrade one of them into a real difference maker, and that's what we did with getting Burrow. So we pretty much take Burrow. We pretty much take J.J. McCarthy, a 26 first, which I think is going to be late, a 26 second, which should be late, and we upgrade to Joe Burrow, and we move back 2 spots from the 111, which to me, from 110 to 203, all those players are in the same tier, so I have no problem moving back there to get something to work. So that's just me having a lot of capital and deciding, you know what, let's upgrade to Burrow, stack him up to Chase in this league, and just have 2, kick-ass, stud quarterbacks. Then you'll see I didn't make the 201 because when I was on the clock at 201, I offered to the entire league, can I get a future first for the 201? Somebody bit, so now we have our 26 first, or no, we don't have our 26 first back. We have somebody else's 26 first, which should be an upgrade from my 26 first, just looking at how good this team is. So we make this trade where I give up my 26 first, and then we make this next trade from the 201, which we traded back to get somebody else's 26 first, which to me, I'm going to bet will be higher than my 26 first. So we actually upgrade my 26 first. We use some liquidity to go get Joe Burrow, and I love all of those moves we did in this draft. Then the rest of this draft, we do Scatabo at 208. We come back around, Harold Fannin, best player available. Another Isaac Tesla share. We go Woody Marks, Jackery, Kroski, Merritt, and this is the team moving forward. Again, if I could just use Darnold, A-Rich, Tucker Kraft to get into a nice wide receiver flex piece, or even a running back. This is a weak enough running back room that I'd be fine picking up a running back. But you get the idea. Really strong team, really fun team. Another team where, even if I couldn't find a way to sell Darnold or A-Rich or Kraft before the season, I'm sure there'll be a window during the season. I don't have to touch anything with this team. Whereas the first team I showed you, the Mickey Mouse League, that was the second team I showed you. That one has a lot of work to do between now and week 1. But that is going to do it for us today. That is 7 of my Dynasty teams, every rookie draft pick I've made so far since the NFL draft, along with every trade I've made since the NFL draft. I hope you guys enjoyed. I do selfishly love doing these videos just so I can get a zoomed out perspective. You know what? Where is this team? Where is it going? How do I feel about it? And I'm curious what you guys think. Let me know if there's if you're looking at one of these teams and something clicks and you're like, you know what, you should really try to do this, or package these 2 players. Maybe this team is a team where you could actually start selling picks and making it a contender. So let me know what you think. As always, the support on this new channel has been crazy, so thank you so much. Subscribe if you're new. Right? If you're watching this video and you're like, oh, I love Ron, I'm subscribed to Ron, but you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed. It helps us out a ton on this channel. Leave a like. And as always, if you want in on the next Patreon league, or if you want in on the next orphan that's available, you can find that patreon.com/Ron Stewart. But if you can't support there, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next one.
Stones, like this froze, ice cold, oh.